Mhm.
So for me, I would say beauty, whenever I think of beauty, the word glow comes to my mind. And what I really am proud of and what I want people to have is that inner glow. And that's what I strive to bring from people when they come into my business. And when they leave the door, I want them to leave with that inner glow. And so for me, beauty is doing everything that creates that inner glow and that inner drive and allows you to just radiate out.
Welcome to the Beauty Talk podcast, where we feature how the best medical practitioners help their patients to look better, younger, and healthier. Now, enjoy the show, and here's your host.
Daniel Gao here. I'm the host of Beauty Talk. We feature the top medical practitioners in health and beauty, both inside and out. I have Kati Wasserman, a licensed esthetician, entrepreneur, and founder of Flagstaff Skincare, a multi-award-winning medical spa voted Best Day Spa in Flagstaff 3 years running. She has grown the clinic from a one-room studio into a full medical spa and became the first in Northern Arizona to offer the Optimus platform, featuring Morpheus 8, Dialase XL, and Lumeca IPL. Kati's work has been featured in Arizona Spa Guide, Entrepreneur's Herald, American Dream TV, and the Greater Flagstaff Chambers Meet the Owner series. And she was nominated for the Athena Award in 2024 for leadership and community impact. She's also launching her skincare line, Prickly Bear, in spring 2026 and debuting her podcast, Beauty Talk Confessions, this winter. So, Kati, welcome and glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I just realized like I had your introduction, but I didn't realize I didn't look so carefully at the podcast name. So it's like it's right, it's just like our podcast name. So
I know, I realized that, but it's such a good name,
yeah, it
and you
is.
guys are doing such a good job with what you're creating.
Yeah, awesome. So Kati, let's start with this. I'm curious, how did you first get interested in the medical field?
Yeah, so I first got interested in the medical field after having my own practice open for a year and seeing that there was just some issues with my clients receiving services from other places, but also not getting the detail and the results that they were wanting. So I invested in the Optimus Morpheus platform that offers Morpheus IPL and Dialase XL for laser hair removal.
Okay. And so, what kind of caused you to want to start your own practice? I mean, why not just work for another practice? I mean, why did you want to start your own?
Yeah, so I've been in the industry for about 15 years and I have worked under many different owners, and I've actually seen businesses franchise out. One of the reasons that I stepped into my own business, I was working for somebody else here in Flagstaff and I saw that there was a missing niche in the market. I really wanted to create a space that clients were greeted with open arms, also felt that they were at home and part of a family. So I actually opened my space during COVID, but I started in a small one-room space, quickly grew out of that within about 3 months and hired my
Um,
first employee, and then grew to the space I'm in now, which is a three-room space that I'm very proud of.
wow. So I'm always curious, how did you grow that practice? I mean, what led to you being able to grow? I mean, within 3 months, like that's really fast growth, and then growing your team and then growing your business and your practice. Like, what was that journey like?
Yeah, so it was really exciting. I was very proud of what I was doing, but what grew it specifically here for me was waxing was kind of our bread and butter, and it was my foundation. I've been waxing for about 15 years, and now I specialize in all hair removal, so laser hair removal as well as waxing hair removal. And that's where my skincare line came from as well. I want to create something that is more versatile and more rounded for all hair removal on the market. And so for me, it was creating a foundation and a system that I taught my employees, and we were all doing so clients had that known kind of environment and coming into something that may not be comfortable. They were expecting the same results and the same treatment and guaranteed results as well. I've perfected my method of waxing where I can guarantee if someone were to come and get waxed by us in 6 months, they will have about 75% hair reduction. So
Wow.
I really take the time and detail to pay attention to skin, which I feel like transitioning to medical, I want to pay attention to the best benefits for the skin and give clients the best benefits and options they can have for their body as well as their face. And so with our waxing and training and our technique, we really built something that we're known for here in town and grew the practice that way.
Hmm.
And then slowly was able to add on other modalities like the more medical side of things, the laser hair removal, and grow that as well.
Okay. Okay. So on the waxing side of it, for people who are not so familiar with waxing, is waxing really for I'm sure the primary is hair removal, but is there anything kind of more behind it, or is it really primarily for hair removal?
Real for hair removal, I have had in where I am, I'm in Northern Arizona, so we have a lot of athletes in our area. So I have
Mm.
had some clients come in where they have some cystic irritation from running and things like that. And so they're looking for hair removal for more comfort and more like helping them aesthetically while they're running and not having that irritation or infection that could possibly come up from ingrown hairs and things like that. So that's what I've seen here, different from some other places that I've worked throughout the US.
Okay. And with waxing, when I think of waxing, I think about okay, you put like the liquid on the I guess I'll call it the tape. You put it on, you wait for it to set, and then you just rip it off, and someone screams in pain. Like, is that how waxing works? Or I'm like, or is that just like this misconception that I have about how waxing works?
That's how some places do
Okay.
waxing.
Mhm.
Our waxing is a little bit different. We use a low melting point wax, so it's very, very comfortable for our clients. And then we
Mm.
have some protocols that prep the skin, keep it really nice and comfortable throughout the treatment.
Mhm.
So we will use that low temperature wax. And then my wax that I'm using here and also creating is a hard wax. So it actually doesn't use that strip. And what it does is it shrink wraps around the hair and keeps that skin integrity intact. So you're not having, there's less likely possibility of lifting or irritation from the skin, which is really nice. And in result, less likely getting ingrowns or things like that.
Okay. And I'm sure this is the number one question you get, is it painful?
I would say like our method that we have here is the least painful that I've seen on the market. And I have clients that respond like one pull is uncomfortable, but it's definitely something that they will come back for.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as far as like I guess I'll call it surface area, like if someone wants to come in and they have like a lot of hair that they want to get removed, is it something where you would typically just get it all done in one go, or would you typically spread it out? Like how does that typically work?
Yeah, so it's really up to the client. Here we do offer up to full body waxing for male and females, and I do have some clients that will just take everything off.
Hmm.
And at that point, we start from the facial area and we kind of end on the more sensitive part. So if they're not wanting to continue, they're kind of at that point where it's what they came for and they finish the treatment, which is really nice.
Okay. And is it
Yeah.
also typically like a one and done kind of thing, or is it something that they have to come back for multiple sessions, or like how does that part work?
Yeah, I wish it was one and done. That would be amazing if that was possible in our world.
Hmm.
But it is something they're going to have to come back for multiple treatments with my method that we teach here and that I am perfecting, and also currently working on a training program for. Within 6 months of coming in every 4 to 6 weeks, they will see that 60 to 75% hair reduction. And then we do recommend people stay on a kind of a maintenance program coming in every 4 to 6 weeks, keeping it in that hair growth cycle so they're getting the most effective results of their treatments.
Okay. And as far as the hair removal, I mean, I'm assuming it can be done on really any part of the body. Are there, I guess, any areas that people have been surprised that you can do this on, or is it kind of pretty straightforward? Like, I have hair here, I want it gone, just take care of it.
Yeah, so I feel like where people are most surprised is nasal area, being able to remove it. In some states that is frowned upon, but where I am in Arizona, we are able to do nasal hair removal. So we just do the outer perimeter, nothing that's going to affect any allergens or things getting up into the nasal area.
Hmm.
So we've done that. And then I also have an elderly client who has some hearing aids that I've been waxing just the perimeter of his ear, and he says it's been the most transformational experience for him, and just the sound in his hearing aids is that much better. So I would say
Interesting.
those two areas are kind of the most interesting, but people are just kind of wanting to get rid of everything.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so now your skincare line, Prickly Bear, I believe my understanding was that you kind of developed this because you have this background in waxing. So could you talk about kind of what led you to want to start up the skincare line and really what is the benefit of the skincare line?
Yes, awesome. So Prickly Bear, the reason I started it is shifting to medical and seeing really what works effectively on the face. I haven't found something that works that effectively on the body for me to recommend to my clients. And so I've been picking pieces together of different companies of what I find that works the best. And so I wanted to create a full system for customers as well as practitioners to be able to offer to their clients that works full rounded for the treatments that they're getting. So for hair removal, whether or not it's waxing, shaving, or laser, or if someone just has irritation in that area, this line is effectively created to work as a system to help exfoliate, brighten, help with scarring, irritation, and hydration. And so it started here in Arizona. I have a main ingredient in it that is has been inspired by desert botanicals. And so I'm really using what I see in this area for healing and hydration, and bringing it to that skincare line.
Okay. So for this skincare line, you mentioned it's like it's a system. So is it largely after someone gets waxing done, or is it you do some of it before and then after you get the waxing, then it's after? Or is it also some lines where if you don't want waxing or you don't want or don't do waxing at all, it can still benefit you?
Yeah, great question. So it definitely can still benefit consumers with whatever hair choice that they have, hair removal choice. And it is created for professional in-house, but then also take home. So I have two products that I am bringing to professionals to use in the treatment room for pre and post waxing to help comfort, irritation, and soothing. And then the five-step system will go home for consumers to use throughout the month between their treatments, to help with elimination of irritation and then hydrating the skin and just keeping the skin as supple as it can be throughout the healing process.
Okay. So I want to go back to the waxing part. What would you say are some common misconceptions or myths that you hear from people when it comes to waxing?
I would say the biggest myth would be that it is extremely painful. Some people obviously are a little bit more uncomfortable with sensation. In my career, I've had maybe two people have said that it's painful, but it's
Mm.
been pretty profound with my technique and my method where clients are shocked afterwards and they just leave with this really nice glow and encouragement, I feel like. And they just feel good because they came in so scared that something was going to be painful and it really isn't, which is really, really nice. So I feel like that's one area that's a misconception. Also, that irritation is part of waxing. I feel like people just kind of assume because of shaving and having that aftershave irritation that all hair removal should and will have irritation and discomfort, and that's not the case with proper aftercare.
Okay, good to know then.
Yeah.
So waxing is one thing you started up, and that's really kind of your specialty. But then I also want to talk about the Optimus platforms, the Morpheus A, the
Yes.
Dialays, the Lumeca. So you brought these. I think you were the first one to bring these into Arizona. Is that
Into
correct?
northern
Another,
Arizona.
no, there's okay.
Yeah.
So could you talk a little bit more about what are these platforms like? What do they do? What are the main benefits of them?
Of course, it's definitely one of my favorite machines, and I'm so happy that I did bring it on to our practice, and I wouldn't be where I am today without this machine.
Hmm.
So my favorite treatment on it is by far the Lumeca IPL. Why I love it is here in Northern Arizona, we are at 9,000 feet, so we are very, very close to the sun, and we have a large demographic of athletes that are just out there running, just very, very an environment and having that environment kind of infect their skin. And so Lumeca IPL is created as a more non-invasive treatment to help with pigment reduction. And it is an anti-cancerous treatment by removing some of these melanin sites. And it is a treatment we recommend doing in a series of 3 or 6. It's extremely comfortable for clients. It's like a warming sensation. And then one of the benefits with this machine is we can also help with broken capillaries and some reddening in the skin. And I've actually seen it help reverse some clients that have had very irritating rosacea here in Flagstaff. And I just love seeing them around town and just them radiating without having to wear any makeup or anything like that because of the treatment. So that's my favorite treatment that Optimus offers. But it does offer two other treatments. So it offers Morpheus 8, Morpheus 8 RF frequencies, which is like skin pen on steroids, is how I describe it to my clients, because the needles that your traditional microneedling are admitting are just allowing us to penetrate this energy into the skin. And so it is basically a facelift in one treatment, which is really, really nice. It also is the first platform that was FDA approved for facelifting. And so it's very, very popular in LA because it has zero downtime and it's just an amazing treatment. So I absolutely love that. That is what drew me to the machine because of the skin tightening it can do in the neck area, but then also in the body for moms and dads that are just kind of going through weight loss or anything like that. And then it also has Dialase XL, which is for laser hair removal. And I've been absolutely loving this because of my waxing. I've been using this for all of my clients. I have actually created a system and a treatment for clients that have ingrowns but have lighter hair because they're not as effective with laser hair removal. But since I've been using it for over 4 years now, I've been very comfortable with it. And I've seen some very amazing effectiveness with just ingrowns alone. So I've created an ingrown hair treatment for some of my waxing clients. And then I've been using it for my clients that have that darker hair that it's really created for.
Okay. So you have all these different platforms on the Optimus platform. You do the waxing. So let's say that someone is looking for any one of these given treatments, but they don't know who to go to. They're not quite sure. They don't know anybody. What would be the most important piece of advice you can give to that person on when they do their search? Like, what should they be looking for to find that person that has the knowledge, has the experience, and can get them the results that they want?
Yeah, so I definitely would look for the experience that somebody has, like myself. Also, I have a machine here that's really nice for facial treatments. If someone is concerned about where their skin is but doesn't really know where to start, we have them come in and we do a facial scanning consultation with one of my facial scanning devices, and that allows us to see in the skin what's really going on a little bit deeper than the naked eye. And so we're able to see it at 14 different modalities, and that gives us some nice recommendations of where to start. If someone is not wanting to go that direction, I like to have them come in or go and talk to someone to have a consultation and really pick their brain and see what they would offer for them, but also kind of what's sparking their interest and really what they're looking for.
Got it. Okay. Are there any red flags that people should keep an eye out for?
Red flags, yes. So I would say places that are offering extreme discounts for these services is going to be a huge red flag. I also have seen places where they have a new practitioner that is working under a doctor, and I would highly discourage people from going to places like that. I have seen some clients and treated some clients that have received some burns just because the practitioner isn't as experienced. And so that's something I would highly recommend as well.
Okay. Now, I'll talk about education because you have a couple of different treatments that you provide. I'm sure that there's a lot of misinformation out there on these different types of modalities. So, how do you approach educating your clients, your patients on the benefits of each of these treatments and when to use one and when to use another one?
Yeah. So I have multiple resources for education for my clients, and we, during our treatments and what has really built our name is we're constantly giving education to our clients. We love to inform clients, giving them as much education as we possibly can. Along with that, as an owner, I am obsessed with ongoing education. And so anytime I do a treatment or I question something, I will talk to my higher ups and my team and ask them about their recommendations or just go over results with them and excited wins. And I love the team that works with Optimus offers ongoing education every year. So they'll actually come up in-house and allow us to do a live model and demonstration and give us some pointers of how we can adjust things. So I have that for ongoing education, which then we translate to clients as well. So we're constantly, like I said, during our treatments, giving them education as well. And then part of what has built my business is I like to train or educate my employees as well. So we're constantly having that ongoing education with trainings that any business will offer us that we partner with.
Okay, perfect. Now, Katie, I'm curious, what role do you believe creativity plays in what you do, your approach to patient care?
So creativity, I feel like plays a huge role. Something that I've seen since I've been in business for 15 years and I've had multiple employees is if we get kind of stagnant or stuck in one track, we either lose excitement ourselves or sometimes we'll lose the client's trust because we're not listening to them or changing their treatments to give them that result and that glow again. So I feel like changing things up and being willing to adjust is something that's really big.
Okay, good to know then. And I'm sure that even despite that, you've probably had some challenging cases, or at least memorable cases that comes to mind. Is there maybe one story that you can share, just a memorable case, a tough case, a challenging case, and how you were able to get them a great outcome in the end?
Yeah. So I would say the biggest challenges that I've learned from having my practice is giving as much information as possible and giving it in multiple different ways so people can process it. I find that I sometimes talk too much during treatments and people are not able to absorb as much information as I like. So I will send them home with a post-care card to hopefully eliminate any contraindications or anything that they can possibly do that could be reactive. And then I like to check in with my clients after 24 hours with any medical treatments to make sure there isn't any questions or any reactions. And then I follow up a few days later as well. And so I really try to eliminate that. But with that being said, sometimes there still is human error. And so I will say, the biggest issue that I've had is some people here, because we are so close to the sun, will get some of these treatments and then they will go out in the sun. And so then we're having to, unfortunately, work on reversing some of that exposure. So I just educate as much as I possibly can. And sometimes, depending on the client, I do a little scare tactic and really make sure that they know, like, just don't go out. It's just going to be just a few days or a week, as long as it's going to be for the healing time. And it's really worth it. And I'll share with them some of the treatments and stories that I've seen as well.
Okay. And for your practice, Flagstaff Skincare, what's your vision for your practice?
Yeah. So my vision for this practice, it's definitely been shifted a little bit. I've had two kiddos since I've opened this practice. So I have fully become a mom, which has been amazing, but this is still my baby. And then I also have my product line as my baby. So my vision is we are already known here in Arizona as the hair removal place, but I want to be known across the US as the go-to for hair removal education. And my practice, I want to be a housing location to educate people that want to come here and work under me, or really just as the foundation and the establishment to allow me to basically go train other people elsewhere and be here. I still want to keep it small here. At one point, I was considering franchising, but I really like my personal interactions and what I've created. And I truly have the best clients I've ever had in my life, and they really are family. And it's something I don't think, as much as I would love to walk away eventually from my clients, I think I always in my heart have to be here at least a few days a week and being able to honor and serve this community.
Wow, that's a fantastic vision you have for the business.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So then, Katie, where do you think the future of aesthetics is going?
Oh my gosh. So aesthetics is blowing my mind right now with where the future is. Some things that are a little bit uneasy is some of the regulations in some of the other states. So I since I've been in this industry for about 15 years, when I first was in the industry, there was a shift in the education and how much was needed for school and things like that. And I feel like in the long run, it worked out in our benefit. And so right now, I feel like we're kind of in like a little bit of a sticky area with what they're trying to allow for regulations for nurses and medical practices and things like that. However, I feel like it is just allowing us to open the door for all of these amazing new treatments that are out there that are really transformative and result driven. And I cannot wait to see what it comes up from.
There's gonna be a bright future ahead.
Yeah, it really is a bright future. And I actually, the other day, I know that there's some bachelor programs that are getting talked about in the works for aesthetics and master estheticians and things like that. And so I'm excited to see what our industry does. I'm excited.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, Katie, I have one last question for you, but before I ask it, I do want to point people to your website at flagstaff-skincare.com. Now,
Thank you.
last question is, what does beauty mean to you?
Oh, beauty.
Mhm.
So for me, I would say beauty, whenever I think of beauty, the word glow comes to my mind. And what I really am proud of and what I want people to have is that inner glow. And that's what I strive to bring from people when they come into my business. And when they leave the door, I want them to leave with that inner glow. And so for me, beauty is doing everything that creates that inner glow and that inner drive and allows you to just radiate out.
Well, there you have it. Katie sharing
Thank
her
you.
knowledge. So, Katie, where can people contact you and your business?
Yeah, so people can follow us on Instagram at Flagstaff Skin, and they can follow us our business, like Daniel said, at www.flagstaff-skincare.com. And then they can also keep an eye out for everything that we're doing for Prickly Bear. If they want to follow us on Instagram for that, we would love that. We are going to be launching some teasers and a bunch of other things here soon.
Awesome. Well, Katie, this was great. Thanks for coming on and thanks for sharing your message.
Thank you so much for having me. This was wonderful talking to you.
Thanks for listening to the Beauty Talk podcast. Any questions, please contact the practice directly with the contact information provided during the show. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.